Imagine waking up to sirens blaring, warning of a massive wall of water approaching fast. Tsunamis are sudden, powerful waves usually triggered by undersea earthquakes, landslides, or volcanic eruptions. Though more common in the Pacific, scientists warn the Atlantic isn't immune to devastating tsunamis. The East Coast, home to millions, has vulnerabilities that many people rarely think about or prepare for. One major concern is the unstable volcanic flank of La Palma in the Canary Islands. If a large section of La Palma collapses, it could send a tsunami racing toward the US computer models show waves, potentially reaching the East Coast in just 8 to 9 hours. These waves wouldn't just be tall, they'd be relentless, flooding cities, destroying infrastructure and costing lives. Unlike hurricanes, which give days of warning, tsunami warnings may come with just a few hours. In densely populated areas like New York, Boston and Miami, that's not much time at all. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami showed how quickly a massive wave can devastate multiple countries. In that event, over 230,000 people died, many caught off guard with no warning whatsoever. The Atlantic Ocean is narrower than the Pacific, meaning less space to dissipate energy across distance. That compact size could allow tsunami waves to retain more destructive power before reaching land. The US East Coast features many low-lying flat areas, especially vulnerable to flooding and storm surges. Florida's long, flat coastline could be especially hard hit, with water pushing miles inland. Cities like Charleston, Norfolk, and even Washington, D.C. are all at varying levels of risk. Scientists study sediment layers to detect ancient tsunamis that may have struck the East Coast previously. One such layer in New Jersey hints at a massive flood thousands of years ago. Although the East Coast has not seen recent tsunamis, geological records suggest they are possible. Submarine landslides, particularly off the continental shelf, are another major tsunami threat for this region. A collapse in the Hudson Canyon, for example, could generate dangerous waves toward the northeast. Submarine landslides can occur spontaneously or be triggered by earthquakes or shifting sediment. Unlike La Palma, these events would provide even less time to issue coastal evacuation alerts. Monitoring underwater regions is difficult and expensive, so many risk zones remain poorly understood. That's why researchers push for more seismic sensors and underwater monitoring systems along the Atlantic. NOAA and the USGS work together to monitor potential tsunami sources and issue alerts when needed. Still, the warning time could be short, especially for a sudden submarine landslide near the coast. Local emergency services would have only minutes to act if a nearby tsunami threat emerged. Another threat involves asteroid impacts, which can create giant ocean waves if they strike near shorelines. NASA tracks near-Earth objects, but the chance of one hitting the ocean remains extremely small. Even so, a well-placed impact could generate waves larger than any natural geological event. In any case, it's clear tsunamis are a real, though rare, risk for the East Coast. Many coastal cities have emergency plans for hurricanes, but not for large-scale tsunami events. Early warning systems, evacuation routes, and public education are key to surviving such an event. Public awareness is low, and that lack of knowledge could increase casualties in a real tsunami. In Japan, constant drills and preparedness save lives during frequent tsunami and earthquake occurrences. The US could benefit from similar widespread drills and public information campaigns on the East Coast. Construction standards are also important, especially for buildings located within flood-prone coastal zones. Flood-resistant designs and elevated structures offer better survival chances during a large tsunami event. Tsunami-resistant construction is expensive, but may save lives and money in long-term disaster scenarios. Some scientists propose artificial reefs or barriers to reduce wave energy before it reaches the coast. While helpful, such defenses may only be effective against smaller waves, not massive mega-tsunamis. Insurance costs could skyrocket if future models begin factoring in tsunami risk for coastal homes. Many homeowners aren't even aware their insurance doesn't cover tsunami-related damage in most standard plans. In a worst-case tsunami, economic losses could total hundreds of billions of dollars in damages. Major ports along the East Coast like New York and Savannah would face serious disruptions. Shipping, fuel and food supply chains could be severed for weeks after a large coastal tsunami. Hospitals and emergency response teams might struggle to function without power or access to flooded roads. Clean water, electricity and medical supplies could become scarce in the aftermath of major coastal destruction. Infrastructures like subways, tunnels and bridges are especially vulnerable in major cities like New York. Saltwater can cause long-term corrosion and damage to underground systems not built to withstand flooding. Tsunamis also threaten ecosystems, displacing or killing marine and coastal wildlife in large numbers. Wetlands and estuaries may never recover fully from saltwater intrusion and debris contamination. Even coral reefs offshore could suffer major physical damage from the initial wave force. Recovery from such an event would take years, if not decades, depending on the damage. Federal aid would be stretched thin if multiple cities were affected simultaneously by the same tsunami. Temporary shelters, food distribution, and healthcare could face severe bottlenecks in the immediate aftermath. Children, the elderly, and people with disabilities would be at heightened risk during chaotic evacuations. Evacuation plans must account for traffic, communication breakdowns, and panic among the general population. In places like Miami or Atlantic City, mass evacuations could face significant logistical obstacles. Effective communication is essential, including sirens, emergency alerts, and pre-planned evacuation routes. Cell towers could go down quickly, making radio and satellite communication essential tools for coordination. Tsunami preparedness should be a topic in schools, community centers, and disaster training events. Simple steps like knowing higher ground locations can save lives during an unexpected wave strike. Tsunamis often strike with a series of waves, not just a single large one. The second or third wave may be even more destructive than the initial impact. People returning to the coast too soon can be caught by these subsequent waves and strong currents. Aftershocks and continued geological activity can also trigger secondary landslides or smaller waves. Monitoring must continue for hours, even days, after the initial wave has passed through. Drones, satellites, and coastal sensors offer new ways to monitor damage and predict follow-up threats. Artificial intelligence may help improve tsunami prediction accuracy by analyzing real-time seismic and ocean data. Still, technology alone won't protect coastal populations. Planning and public awareness are equally vital. Communities that invest in tsunami preparedness will always fare better in these rare but deadly events. The East Coast might not see a tsunami soon, but that doesn't mean the risk is zero. The 1755 Lisbon earthquake sent tsunamis across the Atlantic, even causing damage in the Caribbean. Historical records show waves hitting Barbados and even minor effects felt along the South Carolina coast. That same tectonic system could still pose a threat centuries later as pressure continues to build. Geological changes happen slowly, but when they erupt, the consequences can be sudden and catastrophic. The question isn't whether a tsunami will ever strike. It's whether we'll be ready when it does. Early action today can save countless lives tomorrow, even if the odds seem low for now. Every second counts when a tsunami is approaching, and preparation is the best defense we have. Learning from past disasters is essential if we want to avoid repeating their deadly consequences. The East Coast has time to prepare, but that window won't stay open forever. Investments in science, infrastructure, and education are our best shot at surviving the next big wave. No coastline is truly safe, but informed and prepared communities always stand a better chance. A tsunami might not be stoppable, but its impact doesn't have to be a total catastrophe. Understanding the threat is the first step toward mitigating the devastation a future tsunami could bring. For now, awareness remains our most powerful weapon against nature's unpredictable and often destructive fury. The Atlantic may seem calm, but beneath it lie forces that could reshape the entire coastline. If the East Coast is ever hit, the nation's response could shape history for generations. Let this possibility drive awareness, action, and resilience in every vulnerable coastal community moving forward. Staying informed, practicing drills, and investing in defenses could mean the difference between disaster and survival. The power of a tsunami is terrifying, but with preparation, it doesn't have to be unstoppable. While rare, Atlantic tsunamis are real, and the East Coast must never treat them as impossible. It's time we took this potential threat seriously before the next wave crashes in without warning.